the Activated Storytellers 5th podcast.
This week's story is The Knee-High Man. It's an African-American folktale.
I'm Zephyr.
And I'm Kimberly, Zephyr's mom.
And I am Dennis, the husband of Zephyr's mom. And
together we are
Activated Storytellers.
Today we are podcasting from Ocean Park, Washington, where we have shows this week. Now, we often get asked if we are indeed a family. And the answer, the real answer, we're going to give you the straight answer here.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yep, Zephyr's my son, too.
Yes, and Dennis is my husband, and
sadly, we are related.
Kimberly's my wife.
Not only are we related, we're related to each other.
Yes, that's amazing.
But Kimberly and I were not related before we got married.
No. But yes, no, we are indeed a family. We really can't quite figure out why everybody is always asking us if we are indeed a family after our shows.
I think it's because we're rarely serious on stage. We like to joke around a lot on stage. And during the introduction, we never do anything serious. So during the introduction, we kind of, we'll mess it up like he's the mother and I'm the father and she's the wait. No, that's not right. And then we'll redo it. And I think people aren't quite sure if we're being serious or not.
And also, let's face it, I look entirely too young to have a son who's 15.
You can see our pictures on our website, by the way, and you can judge that one on your own. Yeah, I think we also get asked that a lot because when we are playing characters, I guess we just don't interact the way people expect typical families to interact. Mm.
Well, we also, and we like to switch things up a little bit, like you'll play boys a lot. And
yes, I do. And you play girls.
Actually, that's not as common. But there is a scene in our Don Quixote show where I play.
Where
a girl.
you get to see Zephyr in a dress.
Actually, that used to annoy me a lot when I was younger, and I still had a higher pitched voice because a couple people actually thought I really was a girl, which was ironic because I was just playing it as sheerly for laughs.
Yeah, I think they get the humor now. He's got the manly voice. All right. Well, we have got a great story coming up for you today. It is The Knee-High Man, an African-American story. We'll be getting to that in just a minute. But first, we'd like to tell you a little bit about some of the things that have been happening here at Activated Storytellers. Our website has just gotten an award. Yay! Yay! Woo! We're kind of happy about that. We have just been selected as one of the best educational resources on the web by studySphere. studySphere is one of the fastest growing sites of educational resources for students, teachers, and parents. And studySphere has scoured the internet to select only the finest sites to include within its listing of educational links. So we're a little proud of that. Yeah. And we did get some email or some post rather this week.
We love hearing the posts. We love hearing the comments. We love the reviews.
Yes.
So be sure and drop by if you haven't already and comment us. We like the comments.
We do.
As Lawrence Welk would say, for those of you who remember Lawrence Welk, which is probably no one, keep those cards and letters coming. Except now you can do email.
Well, we did get one we'd like to quote this week. This comes from Amy in Ledyard, Connecticut. She says, "Greetings from Ledyard, Connecticut. We have been enjoying your podcast. The girls love hearing the stories on the computer every week. They really enjoy this week's about the Kraken, and we're excited to hear that you're going to Japan. The pictures of the kites are great, and they did make their own. They turned out cute. And thank you for all your hard work. We enjoy your shows, tapes, and books. Take care, Amy." Now, we have a little story to tell about Amy.
Yes, well, first of all, Amy and Laurie are two ladies we know in Connecticut who have one of the toughest jobs in the whole world. They are the wives of military personnel. Now, being military personnel has got to be tough too, but being the wife of military personnel, it's really got to be tough.
Right. Now, they came to some of our shows up there in Connecticut, and they've been coming back to our shows over and over and over again. I think we'd call them diehard fans. And the little story goes like this. We were in Florida in a parking lot, and all of a sudden we hear, "Dennis! Dennis!" And we're racking our brains trying to figure out who we know in Florida, in this city that would actually know us by name. We're trying to figure it out. We turn around, and lo and behold, there is Amy. And we would not expect to see her there because she's from Connecticut. But she just happened to see our trailer and ran into us in Florida.
We were just getting back from a bike trip, too. It was somewhat unexpected.
Yes, very unexpected. So that's our little Amy story. Okay, and I think it's time to start the story.
This is an African-American folktale from Alabama. Down in Alabama, near the swamp, there lived a teeny tiny man who was so short that people called him the knee-high man.
Hiya, pal. Huh?
In fact, his friends and people he knew often teased him about his height.
Hey there, Mr. Knee-High Man. Hey, do you wear shoes? Or do shoes wear you? Hardy har har, very funny.
Well, he got so tired of being teased that he decided he wanted to try to grow bigger. So he went to ask his animal friends for advice about how he could grow bigger.
And the first friend that he ran into was his great friend, Mr. Boar.
Oh, hi there, Mr. Boar.
Howdy there, Mr. Knee-High Man.
I was just wondering, how come you're so big?
Well, let me see. First of all, I eat lots of rotten apples. And then corn cobs. And then I grunt, and I grunt, and I squeal, and I squeal. Wee, 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 wee. I'm a French pig, you see. And then I roll around in the mud like this. That feels good. And the next thing you know, I'm all big.
Well, thanks. I'll be sure to try that.
And so, Mr. Knee-High Man tried it.
Well, let's see now. First I was supposed to eat some rotten apples. Then I was supposed to eat some corn cobs. Oh, my tooth! Then I was supposed to roll around in the mud. Well, am I any bigger?
No.
Well, that's great. Now I'm short and stinky.
Well, next he moved on to his friend, the horse.
Well, hello there, Miss Horse.
Whoa! Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man! Well, how do you do?
Actually, I was just wondering if you could tell me how come you got so big.
Well, let me see. First of all, I eat some hay. Lots and lots of hay. Ooh, and then I whinny and I whinny. Whee! Whee! And I neigh and I neigh. Neigh! Neigh! And next, I run around and around and around and around. And then I'm bigger.
Well, thanks, Miss Horse. I'll be sure to try that.
And so he did.
Now, let's see. First, I was supposed to eat some hay. Then what was I supposed to do? Then I was supposed to whinny and neigh. Whee! Oh, that hurts my throat. Then I was supposed to run around in circles. Oh, now I'm all dizzy. Well, did I get any bigger?
No.
Well, that's great. Now I'm short and stinky, and I have a sore throat.
And so Mr. Knee-High Man went along until he found his friend, Mr. Bull.
Well, hello there, Mr. Bull.
Hello there, Mr. Knee-High Man.
I was just wondering, how come you're so big?
Well, let's see. Genetics has a lot to do with it, but one thing that there are several things that I do, actually. First of all, I paw at the ground. And
And then I scratch my back on a fence post. That feels good. And then, best of all, I butt my head against a tree, like this. Oh, that felt good. The next thing you know, I'm all sizable like you see me.
Well, thanks. I'll be sure to try that.
No big thing.
And so Mr. Knee-High Man tried what Mr. Bull advised.
Now, let's see. First I was supposed to paw at the ground. Oh, that sure stirs up a lot of dust. Then I was supposed to scratch my back on a fence post. Oh, I think I got a splinter. Then what was I supposed to do? Right, then I was supposed to butt my head against a tree. Whoa! Oh! Well, did I get any bigger?
No.
Well, that's great. Now I'm short and stinky with a sore throat and a headache.
But next, Mr. Knee-High Man came to the hooty owl.
Who's there?
Oh, it's the knee-high man.
Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man. Well, there you are. Oh, how nice to see you.
Well, Miss Owl, since you're so wise, I was wondering if you could tell me how to get bigger.
Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man. First of all, why do you want to be bigger?
Well, if I was bigger and I got in a fight with some guy, then I could win.
Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man, has anybody ever tried to pick a fight with you?
Oh, well, no, but...
Well, then, you have no reason to be any bigger.
But if I was taller, then I could see a long ways off.
Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man, can't you climb a tree?
Well, I suppose so.
Well, of course you can. And you can climb faster and higher than the bigger guys.
Well, I suppose I never thought about it like that.
Oh, I suppose there's a lot you haven't thought about. Oh, Mr. Knee-High Man, you have no reason to be any bigger in the body. You just need to be a little bigger in the brain.
And from that day on, the Knee-High Man never thought about being big again. And you know what? Neither did his friends.
And that's the story of the Knee-High Man.
Actually, when we first did that story, I was the knee-high man.
And he really was about knee-high.
I was a little bit taller than knee-high, but I had a growth spurt that year, ironically enough, and we used to do this thing with the audience where I would do all the things that the animal tried, and I would ask, well, am I any bigger? And some of the kids would actually say yes, because by that time I was starting to be a good size bigger than they were. So.
Actually, the very first time we did the Knee-High Man, Zephyr hadn't even come along yet. And we had a little hand puppet be the Knee-High Man.
It was really short.
That was ages ago.
And didn't we do another incarnation of it, too, when I was a lot younger?
Yes, we've done it 3 or 4 times. The funny thing is we just performed at the Seattle Main Library a couple of days ago, and one woman in the audience came up afterward and said that she was one of the cast members in the very first production we did 18 years ago. And we hardly remembered her because she was with us a very short time, but really strange that she should happen to come to our show without knowing who we were.
Right, and the Knee-High Man was one of the stories that she did 18
Absolutely.
years ago.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and that was before I was even around.
Well,
so.
seeing as how you're 15 years old, yes, it was before you were around.
And we had several different actors that we worked with, and like I said, she was with us for a very short time, so I wouldn't have remembered her otherwise, but as soon as she said her name, then of course I remembered her.
Right, yes. Big hello to Rachel Glass.
Yes. By the way, did you know that some people have criticized this story because it's possible to interpret it a different way?
How so?
Well, on the one hand, physical size in this story substitutes for other things like skin color and physical things that might that separates.
Make you stand out.
Yeah, that makes people different. Right. Okay. So the story is saying you're special even if you're different from other people, and so on.
Right.
But there are some people who have said, well, physical size is also a metaphor for success or ambition.
So it's saying don't try hard?
Don't try. It's saying that minority groups shouldn't try to be as successful as
Interesting.
white people.
I didn't get that out of that story at all.
I wouldn't think that
But
at all.
there's some people who have said that. But it seems to me that those two interpretations are contradictory, and I know that the first one was intended, so I don't see how the second one can possibly be intended.
Funny how people can take things and
Yes.
twist them. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, right now, we are still touring Washington. We do have a few more shows up here in Elma and Yelm, Washington. Then we're heading south. We'll be at the Chetco Community Library, performing a free show there on July 28th. Then we are in Northern California. We have shows in Livermore, Fairfield, San Leandro, Castro Valley, and the Sacramento areas. You need to check our website for those dates and times and locations. And then we're off to Japan, but we will be back and we will be heading north again, and we will be doing shows at schools.
Well, that should about wrap it up for this week, but be sure to tune in next week when we have the Egyptian Cinderella.
The Activated Storytellers perform at schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use American Sign Language, physical comedy, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring the stories to life. For booking information, check our website at www.activated-storytellers.com, where you can also find out when the Activated Storytellers will be performing near you, read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. Until next time.